Hey guys, Mr. Milton here. Today we're going to look at classifying quadrilaterals notes. Okay, make sure that as you go through your video notes that you are listening, you have the sound on, you're being an active listener as you would in class, because writing these down, if just having these written down throughout the semester would help you, I would just give you printed notes. It's not going to be as helpful as if you were to listen, pay attention, write notes, think of questions, think of things that you need to ask, think through the processes and the terms and the theorems that we're using and talking about, so that when we get to the practice that you are ready and your brain's already been kind of wrestling with some of these ideas, okay? All right. At the end of this video, you should be able to classify quadrilaterals. You should be able to use the characteristics of special quadrilaterals to find missing side lengths and angle measures. Okay. Going to be a lot of definitions here. With this specifically, make sure that you are not just writing this down and thinking that now you know the definitions. With any definitions, it's going to take a little bit of practice of just looking at it and committing it to memory. So make sure that you're looking through these definitions over the course of today and tomorrow, and then throughout the chapter. All right, a quadrilateral is a four-sided polygon. Okay, quad, four. Okay, and there are many types of quadrilaterals that with defining characteristics. So the first one, a parallelogram. Is a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. Okay, that's the name, parallelogram. Okay, and typically you'll see that drawn out something like this, where they mark it. Okay, parallelogram. Okay, a rhombus is a parallelogram with four congruent sides. Okay, and a lot of times you'll see that marked like this, four sides all congruent to each other. Okay, a rectangle is a parallelogram with four right angles. Okay, and so you have the four right angles, Okay, and then a square is a parallelogram with four congruent sides and four right angles. So when I said four congruent sides earlier, you might have been like, wait, that's the square, right? Okay, remember, square has four congruent sides, but it also has four right angles. And so it's basically a rhombus that is also a rectangle, or a rectangle that is also a rhombus. Okay. A kite is a parallelogram with, is a quadrilateral with two pairs of adjacent sides congruent and no opposite sides congruent. Okay, so visually a kite, Okay, adjacent sides congruent, and notice that their opposite sides are not congruent. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral with exactly one pair of parallel sides. Okay, so a parallelogram cannot be a trapezoid because a parallelogram has two pairs of opposite sides parallel, where a trapezoid has only one pair of opposite sides parallel. Okay, you'll see that a lot. Oops, I'll do that here. Could look a bunch of different ways. Okay, here's an example of a trapezoid. Okay, and an isosceles trapezoid. Isosceles. Trapezoid is a trapezoid whose non-parallel sides are congruent. Okay, and so that might look like this. Okay. I guess this would be a trapezoid here, something like that. Okay, all right. A couple examples. It says, classify the quadrilateral below with as many names as possible. Okay, and so as many names as possible, there are 4 sides. And so you'd say, okay, well, since there are 4 sides, we could call this a quadrilateral. Quadrilateral. Okay. There are 4 congruent sides, and so I can call that a rhombus. And since it's a rhombus has to be a parallelogram. Now notice that we cannot call this a square because a square has to have 4 congruent sides and 4 right angles. Okay. And it says, what's the most precise name for the figure above? Okay, so the most precise name is a rhombus. The most precise name is a rhombus. Then it says find the values of the variables given that the figure is a rectangle. So here we go, important information here. Rectangle tells us that these degrees, or these angles, are 90 degrees. Okay, so as I look at this, I can say, okay, well, 3y plus 12 should equal 90. Okay, and so I can solve for y. 3y, subtract 12 from both sides is 78. Divide by 3, that's 26. So I find that y is 26. 8x plus y should also equal 90. The issue, though, is that our y, we have x and y in the same equation, but since we found that our y is 26, substitute 26 for y and solve. 8y equals 64. Sorry, 8x equals 64, and x then should equal 8. Okay. All right, so that is your notes on classifying quadrilaterals. See ya.